The people of Eha-Amufu in Isi-Uzo local government area of Enugu State have expressed joy and confidence over the continued improvement of security in their communities and Isi-Uzo in general under the Governor Peter Mbah administration. Stakeholders, youths, women, and other members of the Eha-Amufu community made their feelings known when they trooped out en masse to receive Governor Mbah's security team led by his senior special assistant on security, Vincent Onyabo, who stormed the Obwete Eha-Amufu Joint Task Force JTF security camp with 3 helicopters. The team was at the Obwete JTF camp in the company of the officers of the Nigerian Air Force and the International Helicopter Flying School, IHFS Air Force Base, Emene Enugu, led by Air Commodore D.E. Laha and Wing Commander O. Adeni. The team, which also visited the Agwemede community in Eha-Amufu, were received at St. Paul's Model Secondary School, Eha-Amufu, by the chairman of Isi-Uzo Local Government Council, Barrister Obiora Obiagu, and other community leaders and stakeholders of Eha-Ohuala, including the Anglican Bishop of Eha-Amufu Diocese, Bishop Daniel Olinya, and the traditional ruler of Agwemede community, Igwe John Odo Anyika. Speaking during the visit, Onyabo noted that wrong notions had existed when helicopters sighted around were presumed to have been used by criminals to supply arms and ammunition to enemies of the communities. This is why we have decided to come here with some of those helicopters to reassure you that they are not enemies but friends from the International Helicopter Flying School on a routine training program, and that you should feel happy and wave whenever you see them, he says. He explained that besides the routine training, the security team of the state government partners with the Air Force and the flying schools to assist with effective surveillance of the forest and communities to ensure that criminals did not hold any inch of the state. So their training programs are just one part of the story. The other part, which is very critical, is that their operations also help us to keep an eye on what is happening around these forests, because in Enugu, we have zero tolerance for any form of insecurity. The governor has said it repeatedly that we have no room, forest, or space for criminal elements. Speaking, the Anglican Bishop Olinya expressed great delight at what he described as the exceptional commitment of His Excellency Governor Peter Mbah to the security and welfare of the people of Eha-Amufu and Isi-Uzo local government in general. According to the clergy, the recent visit of Eha-Amufu stakeholders to Mbah was an eye-opener to the governor's depth of love and great plans for the people of Isi-Uzo local government area. Appreciating the renewed confidence and people's return to displaced farm settlements in the area, the bishop declared that though he would physically be at Obwete come Sunday, 13th July 2025 to resume normal church service after many years of desertion since 2021-2022. He called on the people of the community to attend the service and take advantage of the existing safe atmosphere to return to their homes and resume farming so that the good efforts of the government and security forces would not be in vain. In his remarks, Isi-Uzo Council Chairman Barrister Obiagu said, quote, "We cannot thank the governor enough for all he has been doing to strengthen security in Isi-Uzo in general and Eha-Amufu in particular since he assumed office. Remember that before he assumed office, there were internally displaced persons at the camps in Isi-Uzo, but in a matter of about a month or two, our people returned to their homes following massive deployment of security personnel. To facilitate security access and improve agricultural production, he has completed the 21.7 kilometers Agape Agu Mbuji Obwete asphalt road, which leads into some of the farm settlements. Currently, he has directed for the asphalt roads to be extended by about 8 kilometers into Agwemede to further improve security. The governor, he is equally working to ensure that these farm settlements have telecom connectivity to aid effective communications and security response. He's also doing the 200-hectare farm estate in all the 11 political wards of Isi-Uzo. These include the 4 political wards of Eha-Amufu. That of Mbuji has since commenced, and Abo Isiala and Agwemede have followed suit. These farms will be fenced and smallholders farmers will have access to modern farm machineries, inputs, and the services of extension workers, he says.
After all these efforts that we are seeing with our own eyes, somebody will come out and say that, there is no commitment, that the governor does not know what he's doing, that, it is not adequate, what he's doing doesn't make any sense. I just want us to note the clear shift from what this governor is doing versus what the previous administration did, even though they were from the same party. And you would think that, well, the PDP didn't really have any direction when it comes to solving the problem of insecurity. When he tried his best, he enacted laws to stopping cars from moving, but the day he enacted that law, the following day, we saw a car in front of Government House, But I mean, sometimes it's good to commend people so that they could do better, they could do more. I'm not saying don't criticize me. I'm number one critique. Do anyhow you see anyhow, But if you look at what has happened versus what has been happening, you will know there's a clear case of a grand plan by this administration to put security in check. Nigeria is a country that hasn't really gotten its security right, and that's the truth. From the federal to the state to the local government, we haven't really gotten our security right. We still have issues with our security, and that stems from the fact that we haven't been able to pay adequate attention to security agencies and how we can fund them adequately. From army to the police, those agencies and NSCDC are underfunded, and most of these police officers you see, are not even well paid. So if we must add more people to the police fold and add more people to the NSCDC, then the policing can go around. That is the reason why most governors, I think this current governor, Enugu State governor, to tell you that this guy has something he has in his head that he's trying to do. He has advocated for state police. He's one of those who apart from advocating for an extra state for the Southeast, he has advocated for state police, because he knows that for swift actions to be taken on matters of security, you would need somebody you will put on their toes. Like you are telling the person, go here now and do this thing now. But you can't tell that to the commissioner. You can't command the commissioner to go here now. You will have to take excuse from the IG. See what governors say, make I do. Then that protocol. But because if we have a state police controlled by the state governor, by the state apparatchik, I dare say it will be different. It will be different because state governors would employ people of that community to man the security of that community and arm them properly in order to get those security of those locations done well. That is what security is. That is what security should be. But in a situation where, you have somebody who lived all his life in Kano, you are telling him now to come and employ them in Ezago local government area to be a policeman or to be a DPO. What are you doing? What are you doing? I believe that sometimes people who are sent to their location where they grow up from or where they know, they tend to police that area better than when they send them to somewhere place that they don't know. That is my belief. I might be wrong on this, but that is my belief. I know security, application of security rules and regulations or engagements, differ from person to person and people to people, no doubt. But I still think you can't tell me that somebody who has lived all his life in Katsina and then you bring them all the way from Katsina to Enugu to come and man a particular police division in Uzowani. You now say they will do well, they know their way, they know their terrain. First of all, the cultural background, the language has cut you off. Same thing with the Igbo going that way. I believe that sometimes even speaking the people's language would also help in securing your people. If you imagine a Fulani man who is a police officer comes to Uzowani and then he doesn't speak the language, and then he's trying to speak, he speaks in Hausa, speaks in Fulani, whereas this guy who is an Uzowani indigene, is running away from the so-called Marudin herdsmen who have allegedly been tamed to be Fulani people. How would you add it up? But if I speak my language to you, you would understand me and speak. You identify with me and want to tell me the story of what has happened. So sometimes too, we should bring down that sensitivity in securing our lives and also adding the numbers of people who I think will be good enough to mash up the numbers. I don't think we're adequate in that sphere. And so Enugu is in Nigeria, and the governor is doing really well. The command and control center, the DRS guys, they are virtually everywhere. I know that 17 local government area is a huge is huge. And some places that have not been secured just yet because of the resources that are involved. But by and large, like it or leave it, it's an effort. At least I've got into that command and control center, and it is just massive. Do you know that we have satellites inside the forest watching some of these people? So sometimes when people, show working, commend them so that they will do more. That's exactly what I wanted to put out about this particular story.